Hello, my name is John. I'm going to introduce you to draws. So looking at the board here in front of me, well, first of all, there are 5 draws that you need to know about. And the one that's very common with beginners is stalemate. So let's say we have this position and it's white's turn. White moves the queen over here. Now it's black's turn. Now this pawn is moving this way and it's blocked by this, so it can't go that direction. And there's nothing here to capture, so this pawn has no move. Now let's look at the black king. The king can't go here, he's moving into check. You can't move your king into check. Same there, same there. So the king is unable to move as well. Now the important thing here is that the king is not in check. If the king had been in check in this position, somehow it would have been checkmate, but this is stalemate. Stalemate is when you can't move without moving into check and there's nothing else to move. So stalemate is common among beginners. So the next draw I want to tell you about is a draw due to insufficient checkmating material. So let's say we have this position here and we have, let's say we have a black knight here, that's here, and we'll say that's here. Let's say it's white's turn. White takes this. Okay. And the king is in check and the knight takes the queen. Now black has only a knight left and white has nothing. So this is a draw due to insufficient checkmating material because it is not possible to checkmate using a single knight only, especially when there are only 2 kings on the board. And equally, if instead of a knight that had been a bishop, it's also not possible to force a checkmate. This again is a draw due to insufficient checkmating material. And finally, let's suppose this had been here and this took this. Now, we only have 2 kings left. The kings can't even go close to each other because they'd both be in check, so they can't even hope to attack each other. So this again is a draw due to insufficient checkmating material. Both players get a half point. Okay, so that's another draw covered. The next one I want to cover is the position repeating 3 times. Let's suppose that's here. Let's suppose white's here and it's white's turn. Okay, let's suppose white moved here, check. Okay, black moves here, white goes here, check, and we'll say black moves back. Now this is the second time that everything has been in exactly the same place. King here, queen here. It could apply to any position, but this position now has occurred twice. Let's say white continues, check, black goes here, white goes here, check, and now by moving here the position is going to repeat for the 3rd time. Everything is going to be in the same place for the 3rd time. Now it didn't have to be a check, but just the fact that everything has repeated for the 3rd time means that it's a draw. So this is a draw because the position has repeated 3 times. It doesn't necessarily have to have happened with consecutive moves. There could have been a number of moves before a position repeated. But this is a draw because the position has repeated 3 times. Okay, the next draw I want to tell you about is called the 50 move rule. Now let's suppose black moved here. Okay. And white takes it. Now this can happen for either colour, it's not just black or white. So now white has made a capture, so from this move white has 50 moves to win this game. That's 50 white moves and 50 black moves. So if white cannot force a checkmate in 50 moves, it's a draw. Now normally in competitions games are being recorded so people can keep track of moves. But if they're playing friendly moves without any recording, one player can do the counting out loud so the other person can hear. So black's turn. Now let's say white hasn't a clue how to win with the king and the queen, which can happen very often with beginners. And 49 moves later, let's say we've been moving around the board and we're say somewhere like this. And now it's white's turn. Okay, check. Now this is the 50th move for white. There's no checkmate, it's only a check. This is a draw, it's called the 50 move rule. So it's 50 moves each. This is common enough for beginners. Now there's also another aspect to this rule. If, let's suppose this pawn had been here, and let's just say we're here. Now it's white's move, white's 50th move. Now let's suppose white moved this pawn. Now this is a pawn move. Now the rule is that it's 50 moves from the last pawn move or the last capture. So now a pawn has moved, so the count is to start again from 0. So it's 50 moves from the last pawn move or the last capture. So again, you count up to 50 moves, and if white can't checkmate in 50 moves, but if this pawn moves again, you've got to start counting from 0 again. Okay, so that's the 50 move rule. Common enough with beginners. Now the last draw has more to do with players than the board themselves. Let's say, for instance, it's black's turn. Black moves here. Now black can offer white a draw. White, or Mr. White, would you like a draw? And if white says yes, then it's a draw. If white says nothing and just moves, then the draw has been declined. Now let's say while white is thinking, black changes black's mind and says, no, I'm withdrawing the offer. Well, you can't actually withdraw the offer, because once the offer has been made, you can't withdraw it. All that can happen is white either moves, which automatically declines the offer, or white says no, or says yes. If it says yes, it's a draw. If it says no, the offer has been declined. So this is common enough, especially among strong players. So roughly a third of games end in draws. Just something to remember. Okay, so this concludes the draws. There are 5 draws that you need to know about. Stalemate, position repeating 3 times, insufficient checkmating material, the 50 move rule, and offer and accept. So thank you for watching.